Number 10, Will Smith. Kicking off our list is husband, father, and it turns out ex Will Smith. In season 3, episode 12 of the series, Jada invited her husband Will onto the show so they could speak openly and publicly about the alleged relationship between herself and singer August Alsina during their brief separation in 2015. The singer claimed that he had to have Will's blessing to begin the relationship despite the pair technically being separated at the time and, well, beyond that. Jada confirmed the relationship did in fact take place, but they were on a break. She denies that Will ever gave August permission, but when referring to the situation as an entanglement, Will snaps and makes her correct herself to say relationship instead. While it may have been playful, seeing Will Smith get mad at all after 2022 just brings pure anxiety into my soul. Number 9, Leah Remini. The world of science. It's the gift that keeps on giving. In 2015, Leah Remini wrote a memoir called Troublemaker. In the book, Leah recounts seeing Jada appearing at scientific gatherings, specifically talking about one instance in particular when Jada refused to participate in a game of hide and seek with Tom Cruise in his backyard. Why does that sound like a dream that I had? When asked on Bravo's Watch What Happens Live for her side of the story, Pinkett Smith said that she remembered things differently and that the game was more like adults innocently playing hide and seek rather than an actual thing. Remini says that she took this as textbook fair gaming, a strategy with scientific folk where they mock and then unrelentingly discredit critics of their beliefs. On Red Table Talk, Smith explained a series of tweets defending her family and their religious beliefs, and later stated that she actually grew up in a fairly liberal household and was allowed to explore all religions and just kind of chose which ones that she liked for herself. Remini reminded Pinkett Smith of her high celebrity status, stating that she was interrogated for months after simply asking one member of the crew where the leader's wife was, like not if she was alive, just how she was doing. Things ended civilly between the two, with both agreeing that despite the feud and misunderstanding, that it's never too late to heal. Ew. Number 8, Nick Cannon. TV personality and full-time baby maker Nick Cannon has been open about his disdain for the series for quite some time, denying multiple requests to actually show up on Red Table Talk. After the show's cancellation, Cannon took to Twitter to express his joy, stating that the show was toxic and added that there was too much honesty on a program, saying that he just wanted to mind his own business and asked if everyone else could do the same thing. He also claimed that if it weren't for his involvement with the program, that husband Will Smith would have never even thought of touching Chris Rock's face, but we now know that that's not the case. I understand the hate. Red Table Talk got into too much information territory way too many times to be a normal talk show, and Jada seeks out reasons to bring her family on the air constantly. I'm all for family drama, but maybe not in front of a camera being recorded to share with millions of people, especially got a book coming out anyway. Number 7, Tom Segura. Comedian Tom Segura was one of many celebrities to speak out after the now infamous Chris Rock incident at 2022. Now, I will be paraphrasing the things Tom says, as I don't want to just quote a series of bleeps over and over again. It gets rough. Tom tweeted, "This girl has been bald. Jokes about it or her are fine. It was tame AF. You super sensitive about it? Buy a wig." Boom. Roasted. While Pinkett Smith hasn't herself commented on the posts, many fans were quick to defend Jada and call out the comedian as a bully. Fans of Segura know his style, and he kept to that, responding to the haters, comparing their sensitivity to a certain member of his anatomy, before posting a video of him landing in New York City and stating, "Just landed in NYP, you dusty, bald-headed snitches. See you at the show." Personally, I'd love to see Jada and Tom go head-to-head in a roast battle. If we could put that on the air instead of everything that's been on the air, that would be great. Number 6, Gabrielle Union. The beef started 17 years ago, a long time to hold a grudge, but why? Well, they don't really know. Jada brought Gabrielle onto the show to address the fact that despite the two always crossing paths and being cold with each other, that neither could remember what caused the tension. Union called Jada on the phone, and they both attempt to piece together what exactly left such a terrible taste in each other's mouth. They tried and tried, but they could not remember, and eventually Union agreed to appear on the show, where the two just kind of put the past behind them and they laughed it off, chalking it up to the drama of young divas. They had a good time on the show, just catching up and discussing life, and it actually apparently turned out pretty okay. I know this is supposed to be negative, but hey, let's all take a deep breath and just enjoy the fact that there was an okay conversation on that show one time, and only one time. Everything else is very bad. Number 5, August Alsina. Mentioned previously in the list, August Alsina is a rapper and the former love interest of the star of our list, Jada Pinkett Smith. The two first met in 2015 at a concert for Jaden and Willow Smith, and their connection was was instant. The two became very good friends as August was going through some substance control issues at the time, and Smith was this helpful hand that he needed. This would explain why over time their relationship turned romantic after Jada and Will took their brief break from their marriage, but Jada wasn't left alone. August told radio host Angela Yee that he truly and really deeply loved her. That is a direct quote. Unfortunately for August, Jada thought it would be a wonderful idea to bring out her husband Will and air out their dirty laundry on Red Table Talk. August was revealed as a secret lover, but the Smiths say that they reached a level of unconditional love within their marriage. But we all know that they've been separated for 7 years, so that was bull poo poo. Number 4, Jaden Smith. Another member of the Smith family, Jaden is remembered by many as the little guy from the Karate Kid remake, but he's now mainly known for his singing chops and fashion abilities actually. Jaden has been living in the shadow of his father from day one, being thrust into the limelight before he even hit double digits. With famous parents comes challenges, and one of those challenges seems to be a lack of hugs. The Smith kids are famously left to their own devices and have been financially independent from a very young age, meaning they never really had to ask mom and dad to help buy them something because they just did it themselves. They had the money. They can make that much now. Episode of Table Talk, Jaden confronts his mother on the way he was raised, claiming the style of parenting ruined his life and his ability to connect with people. Jaden has consistently been a good soul in the media and is extremely loyal to his fan base, something that he most certainly didn't learn from his mother. Number 3, Khloe Kardashian. Khloe Kardashian is an American personality and socialite present in the media for years, starring alongside her fellow family members on the hit show Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Khloe released a series of tweets a while back claiming that men blaming the women in the relationship for all of their issues was invalid and hurtful. While this is true sometimes, many have called out the star in her comments during a very famous interview from Red Table Talk in which Jordan Woods came forward and told the truth about an alleged cheating scandal. The man in question, Tristan Thompson, claimed that Jordan performed a number of provocative activities, but she denied many of those claims. Despite this, Khloe publicly blamed Jordan for the breakup in her family and names her as an enemy. During all this, Jada Smith just kind of sat back, watched, and laughed while everything was happening, sipping her tea in a red chair. Number 2, Chris Rock. In 2022, Chris Rock was hosting the 94th annual Oscars when he decided to make a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith and her hair loss. It was a great joke. Immediately following the joke, which landed for everybody else in the audience, Will Smith stood up, walked on stage, and clocked Chris in the face. Now, initially this was seen as a joke between the two, but then Will started shouting several times at Chris to keep his wife's name out of his mouth. It's still burned into my memory to this day. Chris handled the situation well, getting back to the festivities and just kind of keeping the night going along. But then, Will Smith won the Oscar for Best Actor. Rock took to social media to address the controversy and let everybody know that he meant no harm and felt the response to have been highly extreme. He also claims that if Jada had found the joke funny, nothing would have happened. In fact, moments before walking on stage, you can see Will Smith giggling. It's almost like she whispered, "Get him," and then it activated some kind of a destruct code. Jada posted several videos claiming that Rock was dragging the situation out too long and to put the past behind him. "I'm sorry, Smith family, no Ben in Black mind eraser things here. Those aren't real. That was just a movie." It's just a movie, Nate. Number 1, Cherie Zampino. Don't recognize that name? Well, only hardcore Will Smith fans might, because Cherie is Will's ex-wife. Briefly married in the mid-90s, Will and Cherie were adorable together, regularly appearing at red carpet events and movie premieres. Adorable and inseparable. It's so cute. But behind the scenes, things weren't peachy at all. It was revealed on an episode of Red Table Talk that Jada Pinkett Smith briefly partook in an affair with Will in 1995. Jada claims that Cherie and Will were towards the end of their relationship and was simply in her eyes dating a newly divorced man. She would later admit that technically that wasn't true, and while Will was divorced, hadn't really come into play yet. Cherie discovered what was taking place and went off on the couple, and not long after, ended the marriage. In 2018, the two got back together to speak candidly about the incident on Red Table Talk. Just another one of the terrible episodes that I truly recommend that you don't watch. Number 10. Will Smith. Kicking off our list is husband, father, and professional smack master himself, Will Smith Esquire. In season 3, episode 12 of the series, Jada invited her husband, Will, onto the show so that they could talk and speak openly and publicly about an alleged relationship between herself and the singer August Alsina during a brief separation in 2015. The singer claimed that he had to have Will's blessing to begin the relationship in the first place, despite the pair technically being separated at the time. Jada confirmed that the relationship did in fact take place, but they were on a break, you know? Like, come on, they were on a break. She denies that Will ever gave August permission, you know, but when referring to the situation as an entanglement, Will snapped and he made her correct herself, saying, hey, it's a relationship, okay? Say the word relationship. Now, while it may have been playful, seeing him get mad at all after 2022 just brings pure anxiety into my soul. So please keep calm and Will Smith, go on. Number 9, Leah Remini. Scientology, the gift that just keeps on giving. Well, in 2015, Leah Remini wrote a Scientology exposing memoir called Troublemaker. In said book, Leah recounts seeing Jada appearing at Scientology gatherings, recounting one instance in particular when Jada refused to participate in a game of hide and seek in Tom Cruise's backyard. Why does that sound like the start to just a really bad joke? That actually happened? That's something that happened? Wow. I want to go to Tom Cruise's backyard. When asked on Bravo's Watch What Happens Live for her side of the story, Pinkett Smith said that she remembered the story differently and that the game was more like adults innocently playing hide and seek with their children. But Remini says she took this as textbook fair gaming, which is a strategy with Scientologists, where they mock and then unrelentingly discredit critics of their religions. Now, on Red Table Talk, Smith explained a series of tweets defending her family and their religious beliefs, later stating that she actually grew up in a fairly liberal household and was allowed to explore all religions and just simply choose for herself which one she wanted to commit to. Now, Remini reminded Pinkett Smith of her high celebrity status and stated that Remini herself was interrogated for months by the Scientology community after just simply asking one member of the church where the leader's wife was. Like, not if she was alive, just how's she doing, you know? Things ended civilly between the two, with both agreeing that despite the feud and misunderstanding, that it's never too late to heal. Number 8, Nick Cannon. TV personality and full-time baby maker Nick Cannon has been open about his disdain for the series for quite some time, denying multiple requests to appear on the show. But after the show's cancellation last week, Cannon took to Twitter to express his pure joy, stating that the show was toxic and added that there was too much honesty to the program, saying that he just wants to mind his own business and asked that she does the same. He also claimed that if it weren't for his involvement with the program, that husband Will Smith would have never even thought of slapping Chris Rock, and that she somehow stoked the fire that fueled his rage that night. I understand the hate. Red Table Talk got into too much information territory way too many times to be a normal talk show, and Jada seeks out reasons to bring her family on there constantly. Now, I'm all for family drama, but not in front of a camera, you know, being recorded to share for millions of people. I don't need the world to know that. Cannon is no stranger to family drama, but you can just Google that. Number 7, Tom Segura. Comedian Tom Segura was one of many celebrities to speak out after the now infamous Chris Rock incident at the Oscars in 2022. Now, I'll be paraphrasing here as I don't want to just quote a series of bleeps over and over again. That's no fun. So Tom tweeted, "This girl been bald. Jokes about it or her are fine. It was tame AF. You super sensitive about it? Buy a wig." Boom. Roasted. While Pinkett Smith hasn't herself commented on the posts, many fans were really quick to defend Jada, calling the comedian a bully. Now, fans of Segura know his style, and he kept to that, responding to the haters, comparing their sensitivity to a certain member of his anatomy, before posting a video of him landing in New York City and stating, "Just landed in NYC, you dusty, bald-headed female dogs. See you at the show." Personally, I'd love to see Jada and Tom go head-to-head in a roast battle. I would make that a talk show. I'll watch that on Facebook. Number 6, Gabrielle Union. This beef started 17 years ago, a long time to hold a grudge, but what for exactly? Well, they don't know either. Jada brought Gabrielle on the show to address the fact that despite the two always crossing paths and being cold with each other, that they just couldn't remember why.
Union called Jada on the phone and they both attempted to piece together what exactly left such a terrible taste in each other's mouths. They tried and tried and tried, but they just couldn't remember it, and eventually Union agreed to appear on the show where the two put the past behind them and they were just able to laugh it off, chalking it up to the drama of young divas. They had a good time on the show, just catching up, discussing life, and it actually turned out to be a pretty heartwarming episode. I know this is a mainly negative list so far, so let's all just take a deep breath, and if you haven't already, click the subscribe button so you can always be a part of the drama. Now, seeing as the show's editors have done their very best to make Jada look good, I will also be including some people who weren't on the show, but were or shared their feelings afterwards, or just had some kind of involvement with her. Number 5, August Alsina. Now, mentioned previously in this list, August Alsina is a rapper and the former love interest of the star of our list, Miss Jada Pinkett Smith. The two first met in 2015 at a concert for Jaden and Willow Smith, and the connection was instant. The two became very good friends as August was going through some substance issues, and Smith was the helpful hand he needed to get through. This would explain why over the time the relationship began to turn romantic. After Jada and Will took a brief break from their marriage, Jada wasn't just left alone. She had a shoulder to cry on. August. August told radio host Angela Yee this past June that he truly and really just deeply loved her. Unfortunately for August, Jada thought that it would be a wonderful idea to bring her husband on the show and air out their dirty laundry. So August was revealed as a secret lover, but the Smiths said that they've reached a level of unconditional love within their marriage. Before being painted as the enemy, August released a statement letting everybody know that I'm always going to be in the driver's seat of my life and control my own narrative. Just steer clear of Will's right hand. It's a bit dangerous. Number 4, Jaden Smith. Another member of the Smith family, Jaden is remembered by many as the little boy from the Karate Kid remake, but he's now mainly known for his rapping and singing chops. Jaden's been living in the shadow of his father from day one, being thrust into the limelight before he even hit double digits. With famous parents comes challenges. One of those challenges seems to be a lack of hugs. Oh, that's sad. The Smith kids are famously left to their own devices and have been financially independent from a very young age, meaning they've never really had to ask mom and dad to help buy something for them or even save money for everything because they've just kind of always had it. They make it themselves now. Who needs them? In an episode of Table Talk, Jaden confronted his mother on the way that he was raised, claiming that their style of parenting ruined his life and his ability to connect with people. Now, Jaden has constantly been a good soul in social media and is extremely loyal to his fan base, so don't worry, man, you've got a massive family out there. It's 1 million strong. Let's just not all try to hug him at once. Number 3, Khloe Kardashian. Khloe Kardashian is an American personality and socialite, according to Wikipedia. Present in the media for years, starring alongside her fellow family members of the hit show Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Khloe released a series of tweets a while back claiming that men blaming women in their relationships for all of their problems was invalid and hurtful. And while this is true, many have called out the star on her comments because of a famous interview from Red Table Talk, which is Jordan Woods. Jordan Woods came forward and told the truth about an alleged cheating scandal. The man in question, Tristan Thompson, claimed that Jordan performed a number of provocative acts, but she denies many of these claims. Despite this, Khloe publicly blamed Jordan for the entire breakup of her family and names her as the enemy every time. But during all this, Jada Smith just sat back and watched the drama unfold instead of having anything to do with it. So, yeah, that's kind of worse than what Khloe did. Just saying. Help. Number 2, Chris Rock. In 2022, Chris Rock was hosting the 94th annual Oscars ceremony, where he decided to make a little joke about Jada Pinkett Smith and her hair loss. Immediately following the joke, which landed for everybody else in the audience, okay, Will Smith stood up, walked on stage, and just clocked Chris right in the face. Now, initially being seen as a planned joke or something between the two, Will then started shouting several times at Rock to keep his wife's name out his mouth. Chris handled the situation well, getting back onto the festivities and just kind of helping the night move on and making it seem like nothing happened. But after Smith won the Oscar for Best Performance, Rock took to social media to address the controversy and let everybody know that he meant no harm, and he felt the response Will had was highly extreme. He also claims that if Jada had found the joke funny, that nothing would have happened. In fact, moments before walking on stage, you can actually see Will Smith giggle. Like, it's almost like she whispered at him, like, "Get him," and it activated some kind of kill code or destruction code, and he just went for it. Jada posted several videos claiming that Rock was dragging the situation out too long and to put the past behind them, but I'm sorry, Smith family, there's no Men in Black mind erasers here, okay? Chris Rock can still hear the ringing in his ears today. Come on. Number 1, Cherie Fletcher. Let me guess, you don't recognize that name. Well, only hardcore Will Smith fans would, because Cherie is Will's ex-wife. Briefly married in the mid-90s, Will and Cherie were adorable together. They were regularly appearing at red carpet events, movie premieres, just adorable, inseparable, wonderful. But behind the screen, things weren't all peachy. It was revealed on an episode of Red Table that Jada Pinkett briefly partook in an affair with Will in 1995. Now, Jada claims that Cherie and Will were towards the end of their relationship and was simply, in her eyes, dating a newly divorced man. But she would later admit that technically that wasn't the case, and while Will was technically divorced hadn't really come into play yet, Cherie discovered what was taking place and went off on the couple. Not long after that, ended her marriage with Will Smith. And in 2018, the two got back together to speak candidly about the incident on Red Table. Definitely an episode worth checking out. Rest in peace, Table Talk.
Number 10, Jada Smith. In her tell-all interview promoting her tell-all book, Jada revealed that her son Jaden saved her life after introducing her to a certain ceremony during a dark time in her life. While Jaden did not do it all the time, he had heard about its benefits from mental health issues from a friend and suggested that they give it a shot. She claimed that after only a handful of uses that her negative thoughts just kinda went away. Jaden has released a statement along with his sister, begging their mother to keep some things private at this time. On top of their pleas to keep quiet, they also acknowledge that their parents have been separated for quite some time and they've known about it, so it's helping absolutely nobody if they stay together. Number 9, Eddie Murphy. Eddie and Jada starred together in the 1996 reboot of The Nutty Professor, a story about a heavy-set man played by Eddie Murphy who develops a serum that burns body fat, making him slender and confident. Smith played his love interest, and it turns out that her time on set was actually something she doesn't fully remember. On an episode of Red Table Talk, Jada admitted to having some serious substance control issues for a good portion of her life. She admitted that while filming this project, she would spend as much time as possible in an altered state, sometimes even while she was on set in front of the camera. On the day she passed out on set and when she came to, she simply told people that she must have had some old vitamins or something like that, when the reality was she was hopped up on too many happy pills. The moment stuck with Jada for a long time, and she claims that this was the last time substances would interfere with her work. Eddie Murphy caught wind of what his co-star had actually done, and he was not happy. The majority of filming was stressful, and the crew were in way too deep for the production to recast Jada and make things work. So Eddie isn't a big social media guy, but he's probably happy to know that Jada's secrets are being exposed left and right. Number 8, Leah Remini. When it comes to science and Jada Pinkett Smith, Leah Remini is probably the most outspoken against Jada. Smith claims to have very little involvement in the community. Rumors that Will and Jada were big into science have been around for years, and this is something that Leah mentions in her book. Troublemaker, Surviving Hollywood, and Weird Science mentions Will and Jada a handful of times, but contains some interesting Jada information. Leah claimed to know for certain that Jada was involved for a long time. Now, she had never seen Will Smith attending any events, but she did spot Jada attending a few at the Celebrity Center in Hollywood. Jada clapped back on Twitter, naming all of the houses of worship that she has visited without being a member. Now, despite getting together on Red Table Talk while it was still on the air and clearing things up, Remini is still on the side of these two should just break up already and save each other the pain and confusion. Number 7, Keanu Reeves. Who could forget the Matrix movies? 3 wonderfully dark, futuristic sci-fi thrillers, and the 4th one, Fun fact about the first Matrix movie, the role of Neo was initially offered to Jada's husband, Will Smith. Will ultimately turned the role down and it went to Keanu Reeves. Instead of making The Matrix, Will went on to make the very underrated film Wild Wild West. It's just an extremely underrated action comedy set in the Old West. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Although Will decided to turn down the role, Jada felt that the project would be revolutionary for the film industry, and while she did eventually star in a sequel, she actually failed to get herself into the first movie. Jada wanted to play the character Trinity in the 1999 film and was even brought in to audition. She recalled failing the audition because she had absolutely no chemistry with Keanu Reeves. For a long time, she has been adamant that she has no idea why there was nothing there, but it seems as simple as the two just did not get along at first. In her memoir, she literally says that she doesn't think it was his fault and refers to him as Key several times, like they're buds. Between Jada's missteps and Will Smith denying the chance to appear in the project, Keanu is surely just counting down the days until these two split for good. Or he doesn't care because he's Keanu Reeves and he has better things to do. Number 6, Tom Segura. Tom Segura was one of the many celebrities who started bashing Will Smith after he ruined the Oscar ceremony in 2022. And I'm not gonna repeat what happened, alright? Go watch some of our other videos if you wanna know. Now, if you don't know what happened, Tom delivered a fiery take on the infamous moment, and I wish I could quote every single thing that he says because it is just so good. So I'm gonna paraphrase as best as I can. Addressing Will Smith directly, Tom said, "Let me tell you this. The idea that his entitled rear end thinks because his feelings are hurt that he gets to hurt one of the all-time greats." Then calling Will a spineless coward that was now on Hollywood's blacklist. Later on, while diving deeper into the situation on the Pat McAfee show, he explained that it was a clear move of entitlement. Will Smith in the moment just decided, you know what, yeah, I'm gonna get out of my chair and I'm gonna go strike Chris Rock across the face because he hurt my feelings. It was like something out of a horror movie. This was only something that was discussed behind closed doors in the comedy industry especially, but it was happening live on stage only for the audience to respond with muffles and applause, going about the night like nothing happened. Since the news that Jada is releasing a memoir became public, he's been urging this couple to sign their papers and stop this nonsense. Number 5, Tom Cruise. Is it really a surprise to learn that Tom Cruise has some celebrity buddies who like to ride with him from time to time? And I'm not talking about horses, no, I'm talking about motorcycles, man. I can't be cool saying motorcycles. It's one of Tom's favorite pastimes, apart from stunt working and of course couch jumping. After becoming friends on the set of the movie Collateral, Tom and Jada discovered that they had a mutual love of motorcycles and went riding with Tom on his dirt bike track. That's right, Tom loves riding so much that he has his own dirt bike track. Somehow that's the only normal thing about this guy. In her memoir, she shares that the two grew close. While Tom has never said it out loud, the stories that Jada tells weave a tale of love. One entry particularly sounds like something right out of a romance novel. One day, after trying to launch herself off of a ramp and failing miserably, Tom helped her up and suggested that they take a breather for the day. But Jada reminded him that it was Tom himself who told her never to give up. He helped her back on her bike, and they kept going. Over and over again in the memoir, there are stories of these two having a strong connection, so while Tom has never said it out loud, he's probably stoked that Will and Jada have officially announced their separation, leaving some room for old Tommy boy to squeeze in. Number 4, 50 Cent. Jada and her entanglement with August Alsina was news that shocked the world like a little tiny bit when it was revealed on Red Table Talk. For 50 Cent, this was the most annoying thing that he had ever had to deal with in his life, which is saying something. Following the revelation, social media users were flocking to Instagram, sharing their opinions and messaging their friends, including 50 Cent. He contacted Will Smith, his buddy, and the two ended up just cursing each other out the entire conversation. In October of 2021, 50 decided to comment on the marriage again, sharing his wish for Jada and Will to just leave each other for good so that he can stop reading about them while he's enjoying his morning brew. Number 3, Chris Rock. Ahead of the release of her new book, Worthy, Jada Pinkett Smith has revealed a ton of information that was just originally thought to be rumors. Now, while we already covered a lot of things, like Will Smith's been separated, in fact, we have a whole top 10 list about that memoir, another fun piece of information that was revealed involved Chris Rock. It was revealed that before Chris Rock actually got struck across the face by Will Smith, he had asked Jada Pinkett Smith out on a date. Now, when you hear that, you're probably like, oh, he asked her out before they met. No, actually, that situation took place in 20 2016 at the height of the first round of separation rumors, which turned out to be completely true. According to Jada, Chris reached out to take a swing. He called and said that he'd love to take her out, to which she responded, "But why though?" He clarified and told her that he was under the impression that herself and Will were getting a divorce, so he just kind of wanted to see what happened. Well, when she revealed that wasn't happening, Chris was so embarrassed. Of course Chris wants these two to split up. How else is he supposed to try asking her out again? Number 2, August Alsina. The world was shocked when August Alsina came forward to confirm a major rumor surrounding Jada and Will's marriage, admitting that he had an affair with Jada in 2015. During an interview, he claimed that he actually sat down with Will Smith and received his blessing due to the nature of their relationship. He insisted that the couple had nothing to be ashamed of and that he loved the Smith family just so much. While Will Smith denied ever giving him a blessing, in fact, he didn't even know that this was a thing until he'd read about it, Jada admitted to the entanglement on Red Table Talk, where she explained to her husband that it was a moment she regretted, all the while referring to the infidelity as an entanglement, like 2 Christmas lights just trapped in a box. While many were, of course, confused as to why she would admit this on the internet for millions of people to see, they also started to wonder if she took advantage of August. At the time, he was only 22 and had struggled with his health, suffering from an autoimmune condition that left him hospitalized multiple times. Jada even admitted to being his mentor at the time. Sounds like a little bit of a weird relationship if you ask me. And at number 1, Will Smith. Now, if there is anyone on this planet that has the right to not like Jada Pinkett Smith, it's her estranged husband, Will Smith. Seeing as they've secretly been separated for 7 years, he is definitely holding some resentment towards Jada. This man has endured public humiliation several times, both caused by himself and by her. In the past few weeks alone, Jada has been revealing so much information about her marriage to Will and what's really been going on behind the scenes. Not only were they separated, but it was revealed that she was in love with rapper Tupac Shakur, but not really in love. People are Anyway, now of course Will isn't calling for himself to be divorced from his wife. That's crazy. But behind closed doors, this man is more than likely filling out the divorce papers as we speak.